A journey through the Renaissance. A cultural and intellectual revival. Introduction. In the tapestry of human history, certain epochs stand out as transformative, casting a radiant glow on the annals of time. One such luminary chapter is the Renaissance, a period that unfolded between the 14th and 17th centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural and intellectual landscape of Europe. Emerging from the shadows of the Middle Ages, the Renaissance was more than a mere historical interlude. It was a profound rebirth, a revival of art, knowledge, and human spirit. The term Renaissance, derived from the French word meaning rebirth, encapsulates the essence of this era perfectly. It was a time when the shackles of medieval orthodoxy began to loosen, allowing the human mind to break free from the constraints of dogma. As the gloom of the Dark Ages receded, a newfound enthusiasm for learning, exploration, and creativity swept across the continent like a gentle breeze heralding the arrival of spring. At the heart of the Renaissance was a fervent appreciation for the classical past. The ancient wisdom of Greece and Rome, long relegated to dusty tomes in monastic libraries, was rekindled with a passion that sparked a revolution in thought. Intellectual giants such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo Galilei emerged, their brilliance illuminating a path toward progress and enlightenment. Art flourished as the Renaissance breathed life into masterpieces that celebrated the human form, nature, and the divine. Science and philosophy, long dormant, experienced a renaissance of their own, with scholars daring to challenge long-held beliefs and pave the way for a new era of reason. This article embarks on a journey through the Renaissance, exploring its multifaceted tapestry and unraveling the threads that wove together a period of unparalleled cultural and intellectual resurgence. Join me and we will delve into the corridors of time to witness the birth of ideas, the blossoming of creativity, and the dawn of a new epoch, the Renaissance. Historical context. Social landscape. The roots of the Renaissance are deeply embedded in the profound societal changes that marked the end of the Middle Ages. The Black Death, a devastating pandemic that swept through Europe in the 14th century, left a trail of destruction in its wake, claiming millions of lives. While this tragedy plunged societies into despair, it also set the stage for a significant demographic shift. With the population decimated, the survivors found themselves in a world where labor was in demand, leading to the gradual breakdown of the feudal system. As a consequence, the surviving population witnessed an increase in economic opportunities and social mobility. The middle class burgeoned, fostering a burgeoning merchant class and a newfound appreciation for education. Cities, once overshadowed by the dominance of feudal manners, became thriving centers of commerce, culture, and intellectual exchange. Political transformation. The aftermath of the Middle Ages witnessed a series of political transformations that laid the groundwork for the Renaissance. The feudal structure, with its decentralized power dynamics, began to wane as monarchs sought to centralize authority. City-states emerged as independent entities, each with its own unique political configuration. Notable examples include the powerful Medici family in Florence, whose patronage played a pivotal role in the flourishing of arts and sciences. The decline of feudalism and the rise of powerful city-states contributed to a more stable political climate. This newfound stability, coupled with a growing sense of civic pride, created an environment conducive to innovation and artistic expression. Economic resurgence. Economically, the Renaissance was marked by a resurgence of trade and commerce. The Crusades had opened up trade routes, exposing Europeans to the wealth and knowledge of the East. This, combined with the technological advancements in navigation, spurred an age of exploration and expansion. The influx of wealth from trade not only fueled the rise of the merchant class but also provided the financial means for artistic patronage. The advent of the printing press in the mid-15th century further catalyzed the dissemination of knowledge. Books became more accessible, enabling a broader segment of society to engage with literature, philosophy, and scientific treatises. Transition to a new era. The transition from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance was not merely a chronological shift, but a profound cultural and intellectual metamorphosis. The Renaissance represented a break from the perceived intellectual stagnation of the medieval period, embracing a renewed interest in classical antiquity, humanism, and individualism. As the vestiges of feudalism faded, the Renaissance emerged as a beacon of human potential and creativity. Scholars, artists, and thinkers drew inspiration from the wisdom of ancient Greece and Rome, seeking to reconcile classical ideals with the evolving Christian worldview. In essence, the Renaissance was a cultural rebirth that unfolded against the backdrop of social, political, and economic transformations. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, rising from the ashes of the Middle Ages to create a legacy that would shape the course of Western civilization for centuries to come. Artistic Renaissance. The Renaissance witnessed an unprecedented explosion of artistic creativity, with luminaries like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael leading the way. This period marked a departure from the rigid stylizations of medieval art, embracing a profound shift towards realism, individual expression, and a renewed appreciation for the human form. Often hailed as the quintessential Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci's artistic brilliance knew no bounds. His mastery of the human anatomy, showcased in works like The Vitruvian Man, reflected a scientific precision that went hand in hand with his artistic prowess. The enigmatic smile of the Mona Lisa and the dramatic composition of The Last Supper stand as timeless testaments to Da Vinci's ability to capture the complexity of human emotion and experience. Michelangelo, a sculptor, painter, and architect, left an indelible mark on the Renaissance with his unparalleled talent. The magnificent frescoes of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, depicting scenes from Genesis, are a testament to his extraordinary ability to infuse spiritual and emotional depth into his work. Michelangelo's sculptures, such as the iconic David, showcased a sculptural mastery that breathed life into the stone. Known for his graceful compositions and harmonious aesthetic, Raphael brought a sense of balance and idealism to Renaissance art. His frescoes in the Vatican stands di Raffaello, including the School of Athens, exemplify his ability to blend classical motifs with contemporary themes. Raphael's works often portrayed a serene beauty and clarity that resonated with the humanistic ideals of the time. Architectural innovations. The Renaissance was not confined to canvas, it extended its reach to the very fabric of cities through architectural innovations. Architects drew inspiration from classical antiquity, seeking to revive the grandeur of Roman and Greek structures. Key features of Renaissance architecture included symmetry, proportion, and a harmonious integration of classical elements. Revered as one of the founding fathers of Renaissance architecture, Brunelleschi's crowning achievement was the construction of the dome of the Florence Cathedral. This engineering marvel showcased not only his technical prowess, but also his commitment to reviving the architectural splendor of antiquity. Andrea Palladio, an architect whose influence extended beyond the Renaissance, developed a distinct architectural style characterized by symmetry and the use of classical orders. His treatise The Four Books of Architecture became a foundational text for architects, and his designs, such as the Villa Rotonda, left an enduring impact. Donato Bramante, Raphael, Michelangelo, and subsequent architects contributed to the design and construction of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. This monumental structure embodied the Renaissance spirit, blending classical principles with innovative engineering to create a symbol of papal power and architectural magnificence. Revival of classical styles. The Renaissance, at its core, was a revival of classical ideals. Artists and architects sought inspiration from the works of ancient Greece and Rome, reintroducing classical elements such as columns, arches, and domes into their creations. Humanism in art. Humanism, a central tenet of Renaissance thought, found expression in art through the portrayal of human emotions, anatomy, and realistic landscapes. Artists, inspired by classical literature, explored themes of human experience and individualism, ushering in a new era of personal expression. Classical orders. Architectural elements like the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian orders re-emerged in Renaissance buildings, emphasizing a return to the classical proportions and aesthetics that defined ancient structures. This revival was a deliberate departure from the medieval Gothic style. Use of perspective. Renaissance artists pioneered the use of linear perspective, a technique that added depth and realism to two-dimensional artworks. This breakthrough allowed for more accurate representations of space, enabling artists to create immersive and visually stunning compositions. In the crucible of the Renaissance, art and architecture emerged as powerful expressions of human creativity and intellect. The works of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, and their contemporaries, coupled with the architectural marvels of the time, not only defined an era but continue to captivate and inspire generations with their timeless beauty and innovation. Literal marvels and humanist wisdom. At the dawn of the Renaissance, Dante Alighieri penned one of the most enduring literary masterpieces, the Divine Comedy. This epic poem, consisting of 3 parts, Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, embarked on a cosmic journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven. Dante's use of the Tuscan vernacular rather than Latin marked a departure from convention, making his work accessible to a broader audience. The Divine Comedy not only showcased Dante's poetic brilliance but also delved into profound theological and philosophical themes, solidifying its status as a cornerstone of Western literature. He was often hailed as the father of humanism, breathed new life into the literary landscape. His collection of poems, Canzonia, or Songbook, captivated readers with its exploration of unrequited love and the contemplation of the human condition. Petrarch's humanist philosophy emphasized the importance of classical education, and his letters and essays became conduits for disseminating the wisdom of antiquity. Petrarch's enduring legacy is also reflected in his popularization of the sonnet, a 14-line poetic form that became a vehicle for expressing personal and philosophical reflections. His contributions laid the groundwork for the flourishing literary and intellectual culture of the Renaissance. Giovanni Boccaccio, a contemporary of Petrarch, gifted the world with the Decameron. This collection of 100 novellas, framed within a storytelling structure, offers a panoramic view of Italian society in the wake of the Black Death. Boccaccio's wit, humor, and keen observations of human nature provided a stark departure from medieval literature. The Decameron not only showcased Boccaccio's narrative prowess but also set the stage for the development of the modern short story. Humanist philosophy. Central to the Renaissance intellectual revolution was the Humanist philosophy, a movement that sought to revive and emulate the wisdom of classical antiquity. Humanists, such as Petrarch and Erasmus, championed the study of classical literature, languages, and philosophy, viewing them as essential to cultivating a well-rounded and virtuous individual. Key tenets of humanism. Classical education. Humanists advocated for the study of classical texts, including those by ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, historians, and poets. Individualism. Humanism placed a strong emphasis on the development of individual talents and virtues. It celebrated the uniqueness of each person and encouraged the pursuit of personal excellence. Secularism. While not rejecting religious beliefs, humanists sought a balance by also valuing and celebrating human achievements in the secular realm, such as art, literature, and governance. Critical inquiry. Humanists embraced critical thinking and intellectual curiosity, encouraging individuals to question and explore a wide range of subjects. Renaissance man. The ideal of the Renaissance man emerged, a person well-versed in various disciplines, including the arts, sciences, philosophy, and literature. The humanist philosophy became a driving force behind the Renaissance's cultural and intellectual revival, permeating not only literature but also art, science, and governance. It laid the groundwork for a renewed appreciation of human potential and creativity that continues to influence Western thought to this day. Scientific Renaissance and its societal impact. Andreas Vesalius, a trailblazing anatomist of the Renaissance, revolutionized the study of human anatomy. His magnum opus, De Humani Corporis Fabrica, On the Fabric of the Human Body, published in 1543, marked a departure from traditional reliance on ancient texts. Vesalius embraced a hands-on approach, conducting meticulous dissections and providing detailed illustrations of the human body. In 1543, the same year as Vesalius' publication, Nicolaus Copernicus introduced the heliocentric model in his seminal work De Revolutionibus Orbium Celestium, on the revolutions of the celestial spheres. Copernicus posited that the Earth and other planets orbited the Sun, challenging the geocentric model that had prevailed for centuries. Impact on society of scientific Renaissance. Challenging traditional beliefs. Theological implications. The heliocentric model, challenging the geocentric view endorsed by the Church, had theological implications. It stirred debates about the nature of the cosmos, challenging long-held beliefs and contributing to the eventual reshaping of the relationship between science and religion. Advancements in medicine. Anatomical insights. Vesalius' detailed anatomical studies not only expanded medical knowledge, but also influenced the practice of medicine. Surgeons and physicians began to rely on direct observation and dissection, marking a departure from ancient authorities. Scientific method and observation. Shift in scientific thinking. The emphasis on empirical observation and experimentation during the Renaissance laid the groundwork for the scientific method. This shift in thinking encouraged scientists to question, observe, and analyze the natural world systematically. Cultural and intellectual flourishing. Scientific Renaissance. The scientific breakthroughs of the Renaissance were integral to the broader cultural and intellectual flourishing of the period. The pursuit of knowledge and the willingness to challenge established ideas created an environment conducive to innovation and progress. Legacy of the Scientific Renaissance. The scientific advances of the Renaissance laid the foundation for the scientific revolution that would follow in the centuries ahead. The willingness to question, observe, and experiment became hallmarks of scientific inquiry, shaping the way humanity approached the understanding of the natural world. These discoveries not only transformed scientific thought but also had a profound and enduring impact on society, contributing to the ongoing evolution of human knowledge and the Enlightenment. Voyages of Exploration. The Age of Discovery, also known as the Age of Exploration, spanned the 15th to the 17th centuries and was a period characterized by extensive overseas exploration, primarily by European powers. This era saw significant advancements in navigation, shipbuilding, and cartography, which allowed explorers to venture beyond their traditional boundaries. Two of the most notable explorers during this period were Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan. Columbus, an Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag, embarked on a series of voyages with the aim of finding a westward route to Asia. In 1492, he reached the islands of the Caribbean, thinking he had arrived in Asia, thus opening the door to the Americas for European exploration. Magellan, a Portuguese explorer sailing under the Spanish crown, is credited with leading the first successful expedition to circumnavigate the globe. Although Magellan himself did not complete the journey, he was killed in the Philippines, his fleet continued, and the expedition, led by Juan Sebastian Elcano, returned to Spain in 1522. The economic implications of these voyages and the broader Age of Discovery were profound and far-reaching. Increased trade routes. The discovery of new sea routes opened up lucrative trade opportunities. Columbus' voyages, for example, connected Europe with the Americas, leading to the Columbian Exchange, a significant interchange of plants, animals, culture, and technology between the Old World and the New World. Globalization of trade. The exploration and establishment of maritime routes contributed to the globalization of trade. The establishment of direct sea routes to Asia by Magellan's expedition, known as the Spice Islands, facilitated the spice trade and reduced the reliance on the Silk Road, boosting European economic interests. Colonialism and mercantilism. European powers established colonies in the newly discovered lands to exploit their resources. Mercantilist economic policies emerged, emphasizing the accumulation of wealth through a favorable balance of trade. Colonies served as sources of raw materials and as markets for finished goods. Wealth accumulation and economic competition. The influx of precious metals, particularly gold and silver, from the Americas to Europe contributed to inflation but also led to the accumulation of wealth for the colonial powers. This wealth fueled economic competition among European nations, with nations vying for dominance in global trade. Cultural exchange and knowledge transfer. The Age of Discovery facilitated cultural exchange and the transfer of knowledge between different civilizations. It had a profound impact on science, technology, and the arts, as ideas, goods, and innovation circulated across the continents. Shift in economic centers. The opening of new trade routes shifted economic centers of power. Traditional trade routes through the Mediterranean and the Silk Road became less dominant, while Atlantic and Pacific routes gained prominence, reshaping the economic landscape. Impact of Renaissance on society overall. Emerge of the individual. Humanism. Renaissance humanism emphasized the value of the individual and human potential. Scholars and thinkers of the time focused on studying classical texts, which celebrated human achievements and capabilities. This intellectual movement encouraged a more optimistic view of human abilities and a belief in the importance of individual accomplishments. Individualism in art. Renaissance art reflected a newfound emphasis on the individual. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael portrayed human figures with a level of realism and individuality not seen in previous eras. Portraits became a popular genre, capturing the unique features and personality of the subject. Education and the printing press. The advent of the printing press facilitated the spread of knowledge, making books more accessible to a wider audience. This increased literacy and education contributed to the empowerment of individuals, enabling them to engage with a broader range of ideas and information. Shift in patronage. The Renaissance saw a shift in patronage, with wealthy individuals and families becoming patrons of the arts. This patronage allowed artists, writers, and thinkers greater independence, fostering a climate where individual creativity and expression flourished. Shift towards a more secular worldview. Secularism versus scholasticism. The Renaissance witnessed a move away from the dominance of scholasticism, the medieval philosophical framework rooted in religious doctrine. Instead, there was a growing interest in secular knowledge, with a focus on human experience, reason, and observation. Human-centered universe. Renaissance thinkers, inspired by the rediscovery of classical texts, began to view the world in a more human-centered way. This marked a departure from the medieval worldview that placed humanity within a cosmic, religious framework. The heliocentric model of the universe proposed by Copernicus challenged traditional cosmology. Secular art and literature. Art and literature of the Renaissance often depicted secular themes and subjects unrelated to religious doctrines. The works of Petrarch, for example, celebrated the beauty of nature, love, and individual experience, reflecting a departure from the religious focus of medieval literature. Scientific inquiry. The Renaissance laid the groundwork for the scientific revolution by encouraging a more empirical and observational approach to understanding the natural world. Thinkers like Galileo Galilei and Johannes Kepler challenged prevailing views, contributing to the development of modern science. Secular governance. Renaissance city-states in Italy, such as Florence and Venice, saw the emergence of secular governance systems. The rise of republics and oligarchies marked a shift away from feudal structures, emphasizing civic values and individual participation in political life. In summary, the Renaissance transformed societal norms and values by fostering the emergence of the individual and promoting a more secular worldview. This period marked a departure from medieval traditions, celebrating human achievements, creativity, and the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake. The emphasis on individualism and secularism laid the intellectual foundation for the profound changes that would unfold in the subsequent centuries. Legacy. Art. The Renaissance revolutionized artistic expression by introducing a more naturalistic and humanistic approach. Techniques such as perspective, chiaroscuro, light and shadow, and anatomical accuracy became integral to artistic practice. The emphasis on individualism and the portrayal of the human experience set the stage for future art movement. The Renaissance legacy is evident in the works of subsequent artists, including those from the Baroque, Rococo, and Neoclassical periods. The notion of art as a means of self-expression and the celebration of human achievement continue to influence contemporary art. Science. The Renaissance contributed to the birth of modern science by promoting empirical observation and experimentation. Pioneers like Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler challenged traditional views, laying the foundation for the scientific method. The shift towards a more secular worldview and the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake spurred advancements in fields such as astronomy, physics, and anatomy. The scientific revolution of the 17th century built upon Renaissance principles and transformed the way humanity understood the natural world. Literature. Renaissance literature celebrated the individual and explored diverse themes, moving away from the strictly religious focus of medieval works. The works of William Shakespeare, for instance, exemplify the Renaissance spirit with their exploration of human emotions, psychology, and societal complexities. The Renaissance emphasis on the revival of classical texts and languages paved the way for the development of modern vernaculars. The rise of the novel and the evolution of literary forms can be traced back to the experimentation and innovation of Renaissance writers. Philosophy. Renaissance philosophy marked a departure from medieval scholasticism, emphasizing humanism, individualism, and the pursuit of knowledge. Thinkers like Erasmus, Pico della Mirandola, and Machiavelli explored a wide range of philosophical themes, including ethics, political philosophy, and metaphysics. The Renaissance laid the intellectual foundation for the Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, skepticism, and the belief in progress. Enlightenment thinkers built upon Renaissance ideals, shaping the principles that underpin modern political and philosophical thought. Shaping the modern world. The Renaissance fostered a cultural and intellectual climate that encouraged critical thinking, curiosity, and a quest for knowledge. These values are integral to the modern scientific and intellectual mindset. The emphasis on individualism and human potential during the Renaissance contributed to the development of democratic ideals and the concept of human rights. These ideas played a crucial role in shaping modern political systems and societies. The Renaissance's impact on education and the spread of knowledge through the printing press laid the groundwork for the democratization of information, a key feature of the modern information age. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Renaissance stands as a pivotal chapter in human history, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to shape and influence subsequent periods. The profound transformations in art, science, literature, and philosophy during this era laid the groundwork for the modern world, establishing a trajectory of intellectual and cultural progress that has resonated across centuries. The Renaissance's celebration of humanism, individualism, and the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake provided the intellectual underpinnings for the subsequent advancements of the Enlightenment. The spirit of critical inquiry and skepticism, nurtured during the Renaissance, played a crucial role in shaping modern scientific methods and principles. The emphasis on the individual, as seen in the works of artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, remains a foundational concept in contemporary notions of self-expression and identity. The enduring influence of Renaissance literature is evident in the continued exploration of complex human emotions and societal dynamics by authors throughout the ages. The plays of William Shakespeare, for instance, remain timeless reflections of the human experience and continue to be performed and studied globally. The Renaissance's impact on philosophy, with its shift towards human-centered worldviews and the exploration of diverse philosophical themes, paved the way for the Enlightenment and subsequent developments in political philosophy and ethics. Moreover, the Renaissance's role in the democratization of education and the spread of knowledge through innovations like the printing press laid the foundation for the information age. The values of curiosity, innovation, and the celebration of diverse perspectives championed during the Renaissance continue to be guiding principles in our interconnected and dynamic global society. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of the Renaissance, we recognize that its influence transcends the boundaries of time and continues to inspire creativity, intellectual curiosity, and a profound appreciation for the potential of human achievement. The Renaissance, with its rich tapestry of art, science, literature, and philosophy, remains a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the enduring quest for knowledge and self-expression.